Tinsley sends it to the outside. He can't get there. Kevin King is going to win the Bar Bissell FTF Cup Series.
Down to the lead. Bud gets wrecked in front of the pack. He saves it. 3-4 wide as they come to the white flag.
Here comes Vargas down on the apron. They are 5 wide. Ian Plash will win it at the line. Is this package? Oh, there goes Jordan Lopez Jr. That's your race leader. Caution flag is out.
Still no one willing to give up as they're going to be dead even off of the first chicane.
Oh, he saves it. What's going to happen here? Here comes the canvas. Oh, get your front there.
He's got it. He's got it. Get there. No.
Canvas is going to win.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to FTF.GG's coverage of the 12th and final round of Season 6 of Core, presented by SimWrapMarket.com, the Soundhead 250, rather Soundhead Entertainment 250, for the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway in Hampton, Georgia. James Pike here alongside, well, normally it would be Caleb Hoffman, but I guess this counts as
Trouble.
Okay, Trouble and or the artist formerly known as Caleb Hoffman. I'm not sure, but this feels very core, so I feel like this is an appropriate way to start off things. But Caleb, whether or not you are normal you or Picasso painting you, what does not change is the fact that we have a great points battle to round out the season that we'll be keeping eyes on throughout every single lap of both races this evening.
Yeah, Pike, and the burning question on my mind all week has been, which one of these men is going to be the one to make core history tonight? I mean, Frisch obviously comes in here. He's been dominating the points all year long. Season 4 champion, has that under his belt. He's been in this scenario before, and he's come out on top. But, I mean, the guy next to him in terms of Michael Cozy Jr., I mean, he's been in this exact scenario before as well. Season 3 core champion, back when our first season on iRacing here at Core. So both of these guys, I mean, they've just been clearing away the best two drivers all year long, and it's reflected in how many top fives each of them have. And it's going to be really a brawl tonight, and I'm so excited that we get to close out with a battle like this, and here in Atlanta of all places as well.
There's one other driver I want to throw into the mix just because he's got 5 wins this season across 11 rounds. Briar LaPrade very much could be the X factor to determine the championship if he runs as well as he normally does, especially here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Let's take a look at the starting grid for tonight's first race of 2, a doubleheader as always on tap for us in Core. And tonight's starting grid and the pole award is brought to you by Eric Messer Photography, the official photographer of the Madhouse Bowman Gray Stadium and Core. To the grid we go. It's Corey Vervinkt, who has the pole alongside Jonathan Cadell. Rusty Walrus and Joey Stone make up the second row, rounding out the top 5. And inside of row 3, TCB, Terrell Baker, and Case Collenbach rolls off in the 6th spot. 7th on the grid is Robert Dorman. To his outside, Dale Reynolds rolls off from 8th. Malad Radman and Wes Graham round out the top 10 of the starting grid, Caleb.
Look on back to 11th, you'll find Justin Champagne. He starts alongside Sean Butler who is in 12th. DT in a new Pepsi machine here tonight. 13th with Ryan Vargas to his outside in the iRacing machine. 14th. Gabe Wood inside row number 8 with Going to his outside starting 16th. Then rounding out your top 20, David Schildhouse, Brian LaPrade, Garrett Smithley, and Michael Cozy Jr.
22 cars lined up for the finale of Season 6 of Core, and a title fight that will be decided over the course of 2 races. 9 points separate the Michaels as Vervinkt and Cadell get us going, and Vervinkt spins the wheels horribly and is going to spin up into the fence before they even get to turn 1.
What a way to start this championship race off the front row, and we have big drama, big chaos. Corey Vervinkt, your pole sitter, wrecks in front of the field. I hope our championship contenders made it through unscathed.
I believe they did, and this is the part where I get to have a little bit of fun here because Corey and I are friends enough outside of the sim. I forget. I don't think it was him. It may have been him who said to make sure that you don't biff it the way that a certain driver that will not be named for respect did at the beginning of the race last week. And, I'm no expert here. I don't drive as much as these drivers do, Caleb, but that's a pretty classic case of wheel spin and just not being able to handle the power, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, these are beasts, and that was one of the points I wanted to make pre-race was keep in mind, Season 5 last year, we still had the ARCA horsepower package. This is the first time we've been to Atlanta in Core with the 900 horsepower race cars, and you can see just got the better of them right here, even on board with championship leader Frisch. Goes for a little spin, but otherwise looks to be okay.
Also, the great irony of this is that for as much as Corey is an IndyCar guy and as much torque as those cars have, which is arguably even more than these Gen 4 cars, he's got no problem with their wings on the car, but then you put fenders on it, and it's a whole different animal, apparently. Also, we can say IndyCar, right? Love you, Corey. Sorry, Jurgen Klopp's leaving Liverpool. I send virtual hugs.
Talking about our championship contenders getting through unscathed, somebody that didn't, Rusty Walrus, Sean Butler, both have heavy damage after that wreck.
So they'll have the opportunity to use their fast repairs early if they so choose. Reminder, you get 1 fast repair here at Atlanta. While we've got a moment under yellow, it gives us the opportunity to go through the facts for tonight's race. We're at the old version of Atlanta Motor Speedway before the repave. So 24 degrees of banking in the corners, 5 degrees of banking on the straights. This is just over 1.5 miles in length, this quad oval, just under 2.5 kilometers tonight. We're racing for 50 laps apiece, 76 miles, 124 kilometers almost. And your tanks are set at 75% of their full capacity, which means a fuel run under green is estimated to be around 32 laps to the 50. So A, you're pitting. B, the window doesn't open to make it to the ends. And this is not counting a green-white checker until about lap 20 or so. So if you come down now, you're giving yourself the opportunity to maybe extend things on a green flag run if you're in the back at best.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure. 50 laps here for each one of these races here tonight. And talking around, it sounds like we're going to be about 20 laps short of that. So, your pit window is going to be really wide. On fuel alone, you can make it about 32 to 34 laps was what we were hearing. So, there's definitely going to be play for strategy, especially if we get, a string of cautions in this race at some point before lap 20.
Drivers making their way through the choose cone. It's as per usual in Core, the pit exit cone on the back straightaway, where drivers will pick whether or not they want to restart on the inside or the outside. And as we get set to go again, Joey Stone and Dale Reynolds leading the charge. Stone running the 1996 paint scheme that Terry Labonte ran at Atlanta when he won the then Winston Cup Championship. Nice little throwback touch.
Same as he ran at North Wilkesboro last week. And watch out for Joey Stone. He's been really quiet, but he's had a very good last few races and showed top 5 speed last week at North Wilkesboro.
So Stone
takes
takes
Dale
out.
Reynolds going to do the same thing. No!
And Cozy got him. Cozy got him good. You see the 99 spinning in the middle of the racetrack. So now we have proper championship implications. That's one of the two fighting for the title swept up. And for the second time in as many restarts, we have one of the drivers of the front row spin the tires and cause chaos behind.
I mean, do we have a full moon or something? What is going on out here? But heavy damage for the 99, and that's going to spell disaster. I mean, he's going to have to use a faster pair early on here.
You would think. You would think. We'll take a look at the replay and see what happened. But again, just wheel spin and nowhere to go. And Wes Graham just came right back into the path of Cozy. I don't think there's much that Cozy could have done. I'll be curious to see what the onboard looks like, but I think if you're Cozy, there's no way to be able to react to that. Here's a look at top Cozy's roof, and you see, yeah, just nothing. You maybe could try and duck down to the inside, but if you duck down underneath Wes, then you run the risk of running into somebody who's restarting on that inside lane, and you try not to spite your arm to cut off your leg, or however the saying goes.
Yeah, and I mean, that's going to make it an uphill battle already here in race 1 for Cozy. I mean, he started tonight 9 points back on Frisch. So, I mean, he's going to have to significantly outperform the 58. And Frisch had that little spin, but no damage from it. Whereas the 99, I mean, completely different story. You see him getting spun up here. What a way to start race 1 of the Soundhead Entertainment 250 here.
So we'll have the opportunity to see if, and he does, worth noting that Cozy just had the chance to use his faster pair and did. So he is down the faster pair for the rest of race 1, but he has a clean race car once again. While we have a moment under yellow, let's take the opportunity to chat with the driver of the number 20 machine. David Schildhouse joins us in the booth. And David, can you explain the wheel spin from the leaders on these restarts? Is there anything that you see that's different or obvious that might be causing it?
Yeah, it's a lack of skill. Sorry, James. I don't know. I wish I could tell you what these guys were doing in front of me. All I see is them wrecking. So I can't tell you why they're having a problem. But we haven't made one lap of green flag racing yet. We haven't gone further than 500 feet on either of these starts. And it's just embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. I'm embarrassed to be a part of this because this is not what the core is. It's sad, and I'm disappointed and I'm frustrated.
How tough is it to regroup and just get back to that racing mentality when you have a chaotic start like this as a driver?
Apparently pretty tough because we just wrecked again after the last restart. I don't know. I just came down pit road, put tires on it just for the hell of it. Wouldn't surprise me if he wrecked again here. Because I don't know. I'm questioning a lot of things about these drivers' mental state right now. And it's not positive.
Fair enough. Well, David,
how are you, James?
I'm okay enough. I have a green screen, and I finished third in the Grand National Conzi race last night, so that wasn't bad.
Let's go!
That was
great.
That was bad. Mount Panorama might kill us all in 2 weeks, but
oh god, I've already started drinking thinking about that one.
Hey, here's the best thing though. If people want to see us all just completely get killed on the racetrack virtually, you can watch it here on the FTF.GG Twitch channel.
I plan on making a horse's rear end out of myself in 2 weeks on that one. I'll tell you that right now.
So do I, David. So do I. As we go back to green flag racing and we go after it once again, as I think this time we're going to get a clean start here and everything's going to be okay enough, as Joey Stone's going to drop to the middle of the racetrack, and that will give Ryan Vargas and TCB the opportunity to lead us down the back straightaway at speed for the first time.
Yeah, and we got to get these beasts down underneath us. I mean, same as David Schildhouse said there. I mean, I don't know. I'm getting flashbacks already. I'm just hoping they make it. Looks like everybody's driving good, though. Vargas out with the nose on TCB right now as we complete our first lap up to speed.
Are they driving good or are they driving good?
They are driving great.
Are they driving great?
Oh, TCB's up in the wall. We might not be driving good. Cars might be driving terrible right now.
Might be. So, also, especially since we had that 5 car in the field, are they driving great or are they driving great?
Yeah, old Terry Labonte. They were 4 wide going into turn 3 for a second. They got it figured out, but I mean, there is a lot of aggressive racing going on right now. DT up in using this outside lane. He's in 4th. Look at Sean, Justin Champagne trying to split the middle here. I don't know if they're going to have real estate to do that. All over each other. Contact between Champagne and Sean. Sean's going to give that spot up, and he'll fall in line behind the number 38 car.
I'm a little surprised that Sean's as aggressive as he is, given that I believe he's already used his fast repair because he got caught up in the first run of that madness of initial starts and restarts. As Redmond drops to the inside to try and get the lead from Ryan Vargas, and he's got Briar LaPrade in tow.
Vargas doing such a good job of using the momentum on this middle lane, but Radman had a big run off turn number 4. Just kind of mistimed it. He's got Briar LaPrade just down his neck right now. And I mean, it's got to be so difficult to concentrate on this car in front of you when you have not only Briar LaPrade, but look at Sean Butler. Big move, 3 wide to the outside here at turn 4 in Atlanta.
Butler making his, David would say himself, big, meaty moves to the high line. He goes around just about everybody, and he might draw alongside Davin Cornelius on the exit of the backstretch. Meanwhile, LaPrade's gotten to the inside of Radman's Woolwich Wanderers machine entering 3.
And keep in mind, while all this is happening for the lead for second, our championship fight still going on. Cozy has inched his way into this top 5 group, and he's kind of left Frisch. Frisch has been struggling a little bit more in lap traffic. Looks like he's going to get past TCB now. Should be closing this gap sometime soon, but Cozy right now, you got to think he's just trying to get as far away from that number 58 as possible early on here.
That's the thought here to the high line. He goes. He's got a great run on Sean Butler. Look at LaPrade to the inside of Ryan Vargas. Radman's tucked in behind the Ledford Billiard Supply machine. And look at Cozy all the way up on the fence trying to get momentum down the front stretch.
Yeah, and I talked to Cozy pre-race. I was like, what's your strategy, going into tonight? And he just candidly told me win. That's all he can do is just go out here and win. And you can see that mindset taking hold early. He might go 3 wide trying for the lead here. No, I think that gap's going to close, but he is all over Briar LaPrade for second right now up to the outside.
The one good thing for Ryan Vargas is that he's been able to keep everybody pinned underneath him. He's had challengers down to the inside, but he's gotten good enough runs on corner exit to maintain the point at least for the moment. Whether or not that changes, we'll see. But I think if someone's going to want to try and pass Vargas, you're going to have to get a run like Cozy is, up high, middle to exit of the corner, and get to his quarter panel before he's able to slide back up.
Frisch tagged the wall a little bit going down the backstretch. Cozy still outside of Briar for the second position, and he's got to get a move on here. I mean, the more time rather that you spend side by side here, I mean, Frisch is catching on up to you.
Frisch will have no problem with this. Vargas there trying to hold everybody off, and LaPrade just goes full-on slide job. So he'll slide up the racetrack. Vargas will duck underneath. LaPrade gets the fence. Cozy had an opportunity to go to the outside. Vargas blocked. Cozy goes down to the inside in 3, and all of a sudden, here comes Garrett Smithley into the top 3.
Garrett Smithley here as well. Cozy was trying to use that momentum to send it on the bottom. He's going to lose the rear end just a little bit. That's going to give the run back to Vargas. So Vargas, after all that, will retain the lead. And now Cozy and Frisch are right here together in the top 5.
I don't think it was intentional, but whether or not he intended to or not, that was a beautiful job from Vargas to take the air off the rear spoiler of Cozy in 3 and 4 that last time by. LaPrade's going to have a second opportunity at a slide job to get up in front of Vargas and take this lead, and Vargas will check up, and now the championship contenders are door-to-door for 3rd and 4th.
This is everything that you want when you say core, you say Atlanta, and I mean, these leaders just under a blanket right now. Look at Justin Champagne, Bigson. Here comes Cozy. He's underneath Vargas trying to take second away now.
Cozy underneath Vargas. Frisch to the top side of Cozy. They get into each other on the back straightaway. Cozy gets turned. Frisch into the back of him. Vargas, I think, clear of all of it. It was Smithley and Radman that got damaged as the championship leaders come together on lap 19 of 50.
Drama and implications, all of the above. I mean, Frisch just turned him.
They got into it on the back straightaway. The replay will tell a lot, and this is one we will want to go look at a million times over, because remember that Cozy has already used his fast repair, so he goes up. Vargas is there. Oh, that's so tough to tell whether or not you can put blame on anybody there. Frisch got a little bit loose off of corner exit. Cozy was trying to crowd him to maintain that top line, and they just bounce off of each other on the exit of 2. And Cozy, I think, got the worst end of it, though Frisch isn't exactly in a great spot either. But Frisch has the fast repair. That's the difference.
Yeah, and I mean, that's why that wreck is so important, because you know, you don't have that flexibility if there's an incident later on in this race. I mean, this is huge.
So drivers will come down pit road. You get a few more looks at what happened here, and we will see how much damage Michael Cozy Jr. is able to repair. That will be the most telling thing, as we'll take a quick break and come back with more action from the finale of Season 6 of Core. Race 1 of the SoundNet Entertainment 250 continues next on the FTF.TZ Twitch channel. Welcome back to FTF.GG's coverage of the SoundNet Entertainment 250 season finale for Core Season 6, Race 1 of 2 this evening. Restart on lap 23 after the championship contenders came together on the back straightaway, and Briar LaPrade and Ryan Vargas are your leaders, with Garrett Smithley third in line on the outside and Justin Champagne bobbling a bit down low.
Yeah, he has to get out of the throttle. It's going to, again, stack everybody up. Champagne's in the wall. They're 3 wide behind him. And I'm really interested here, Pike, how racy they're going to get. I mean, I think they're just going to go right back at it here, it looks like.
For what it's worth, Cozy has already made his way up to the 14th position. He's 1 spot behind Michael P. Frisch. They're just out of this shot as the leaders are 1, 2, 3, 4. Sean Butler starting to make some ground up as Smithley tries to work in that high line just a little bit. But way in the back, you can see Cozy and Frisch running nose to tail for what would be 12th and 13th as they work themselves to the outside of West Graham.
And I mean, you got to keep in mind, Cozy has to make up 9 points to just even break even with Michael P. Frisch going into race 2 here. So, I mean, that can be little by little, but I mean, again, it is part of what goes into that Cozy mindset of just go out here and win. But meanwhile, up in the front, throwing haymakers at each other. Breyer just went for the lead on Vargas. Garrett Smithley's here to the outside now, trying to do what Cozy did unsuccessfully and get this lead on the outside from Vargas. Smithley's looking good up there.
Ooh, Brian LaPrade got loose off corner exit, as did Sean Butler. They danced around the front straightaway. Meanwhile, Smithley going to try and do what Vargas did to Cozy not too long ago and take the rear or air off of the rear spoiler of Vargas to get the lead. That's the first time tonight that Vargas has been passed on the outside. Butler tried to go high. Big move there from Butler to split the gap between Vargas and LaPrade. I wasn't sure he was going to make it, but he darts to the bottom and picks up second.
And a fantastic move there. Now Briar LaPrade trying to use that momentum. He's down to the inside of Sean Butler for the second position. Vargas, for the first time today, is going to have to deal with traffic ahead of him. And we'll see how he navigates this group to the inside of Sean Butler out of turn 2.
Cozy now ahead of Frisch for what it's worth, 10th and 12th. They continue to climb up the standings here, working their way to the outside of Joey Stone. David Schildhouse and DT are in the mix too as Smithley continues to lead. Butler now clear of Briar LaPrade for second with lots of momentum down low. He'll drive up to the fence, then down to the inside, and he'll try and draw even with Smithley through the corner.
Still side by side between these two, and just absolutely incredible racing going on. Look at Sean. Will he send it like we saw Breyer try to do with the slide job a few laps ago? Holding steady down on the inside. Again, just these three under a blanket right now for the lead. Garrett Smithley, I thought he would have a better run off turn 4 there, but he didn't. Sean is just in a really good spot there on the inside.
We know how good Sean Butler is in these Gen 4 race cars. He did not, however, get the run he needed off of the backstretch. So Smithley will get the chance to go ahead by a nose, entering 3. Meanwhile, all the racing here has drawn LaPrade, has drawn Justin Champagne, has drawn Vargas, has drawn P-Money, Preston Pardis racing tonight in core. All of them beginning to inch closer to this battle for the race lead, in addition to Cozy and Frisch and Schildhouse and DT and everybody else.
3 wide for the lead off turn number 2, and how are they going to make this work? Sean looks like he's going to fall in line, and probably a pretty smart move there. Breyer and Garrett still side by side, and Sean will just live to fight another day. Breyer's going to try it, but that back end does not have it. Garrett going to get the lead right here to the stripe, and Sean might even have second.
How many times have we seen drivers lose the rear end on quarter exit in 4 in particular, and it killed their run down the front straightaway? That's exactly what just happened to Brian LaPrade, and he's going to fall back to 3rd as a result of it. Champagne thought about taking a look to the inside, then thought better of it tucked in line. Butler back to the inside of Smithley for the point.
And I'm really surprised. I thought we would see more. Oh, David Schildhouse just tagged the wall off turn number 4 right in front of Michael P. Frisch. Frisch had to take evasive maneuvers a little behind this group. But, I mean, we've seen a pretty fair blend of guys using that top side. Look at Sean Butler off turn number 2 here. Big sin. And guys are just really running everywhere, and that's part of what makes Atlanta, at least this version of it, so unique and so fun to watch with 900 horsepower race cars.
Butler did a really nice job to make that pass on Garrett Smithley. He's up to the front now. LaPrade continuing to try to work that inside, but he just hasn't been able to make too many passes. He's had the opportunity to slide up in front of Vargas on a few occasions, but the inside, at least up to this point, just hasn't quite been as fruitful as Briar LaPrade would like.
Absolutely. Big move from Vargas. He pulls out a line on Justin Champagne, trying to make some noise in this lead pack once again. I'm wondering, James, I mean, are we ever going to calm down in this race? I mean, it feels like we've just been either wrecking, we've been throwing haymakers for the lead, lap after lap, turn after turn. I mean, it just has not calmed down yet.
Perhaps there's another slider there from Brian LaPrade to get up in front of Smithley, and that one I think is successful, and it had a bit of an accordion effect that forced Vargas down underneath Smithley to carry his momentum that he had on the exit of 2. But LaPrade there, look at Justin Champagne, who was able to clear Smithley down the back as well. Champagne now up into 3rd, I believe, for the first time all race.
Side by side behind him as well. Vargas down low. Look at Gabe Wood quietly looking to the outside. He has Preston Pardis. We haven't mentioned him today. He's worked his way up from the caboose of the field in 22nd, trying to break his way into this top 5 now. Championship contender Michael P. Frisch to his outside as well.
Frisch, Cozy, everybody that really is trying to gain spots, they're all up at or near the fence because it's easier to keep yourself from spinning out if you carry momentum up high and run that wider arc, that radius. It's a little bit easier to baby the throttle. Now, you may burn your tires off a little bit more up there too, but you can gain speed, especially if you're running within a pack. And that's exactly what these drivers, especially when you look at call it about Smithley and company on. That's what they're all trying to accomplish.
Absolutely, and I mean, some more comfortable getting closer to that wall than others, and like Cozy Jr. has been one of those guys who just, it feels like you can't even fit a sheet of paper in between the tail end of that car and the wall.
If you're Cozy, at what point do you just start doing something different? Because, I mean, everybody's in line here in front of you with the bulk of the pack. It's almost plate racing. It's not quite, but they're tight enough.
Yeah, and I mean, it's that same effect where you're just kind of clogged in there. And I mean, you got to figure out ways. You can see him looking right here. He's going 3 wide on Preston. He's underneath David as well, 3 wide ahead of him. You get clogged in there, and he's got to figure out a way to negotiate that room and make up spots here as DT with a big sin behind him.
Oh, Smithley, I couldn't tell. I think he got tight in the center of the corner, and that's going to allow Frisch to clear him on the outside. That
wow,
could be
what
big
a move
so far as the championship is concerned. Meanwhile, 3 wide, just ahead of them as they try and figure out who's going to go. And Frisch just sends it in deep and has no problem sliding up the racetrack to block people as they come out of 4. Gabe Wood will be the first one to follow in line, but where is Michael Cozy Jr. to the inside of Vargas? But he has to play keep up with Michael P. Frisch if he wants any shot at this title.
Garrett Smithley tagged the wall behind him, and I mean, at this point in the run, you got to think tires are starting to wear. Is fuel any factor in your mind with 12 laps to go here, lap 39?
These drivers all came down 18 laps ago, about 32 laps to the end, so right on the edge of the fuel window for most of this group, maybe a little bit inside it. We'll see. I don't think it's going to be an issue, but I could be completely wrong about all that. But something to keep in mind, especially if we get a green-white checker, then that does make things very interesting because I don't think these drivers would have enough to pull that off. I think they've just got enough to make it to the scheduled distance of 50 laps.
Seen a few drivers peel onto pit road. Corey Vervinkt was among them, TCB now. So, like you said, I think this main group should be okay, but we've seen crazier things happen here in Core. And everybody, it seems like in the top 5 for the first time today with 10 laps to go, have pretty much settled in. Just kind of where they're running.
Yeah, Butler, LaPrade, Champagne, they've all stabilized. Frisch has been able to hold off Gabe Wood for the moment. Cozy has managed to claw his way up to 6, but again, he needs 9 points. He needs to be ahead of Frisch, not behind.
And I mean, not only ahead, but ahead by a significant margin. And again, it's only going to get harder and harder for Cozy. And I mean, right now, how desperate do you think he's feeling inside that race car, I think is the big question.
And how much did his race change here as Robert Dorman goes around towards the back of the field, but off the racing line and out of the way of oncoming traffic, so no yellow flag. But how much did first having to use the fast repair early on with the second spin off the initial start, and then B, having to get the damage repaired after the contact with Frisch in 2, how much did that change his race and affect?
I mean, it absolutely flipped it on its head. And as they run right now, I mean, Frisch would have 4 additional points on Cozy, would make it a 13-point margin going into race number 2. So again, that gap just gets wider and wider, and it's going to make it just even harder for Cozy going into the second race if he doesn't find some speed or find something at least to get an edge on the 58 here.
And it's not like these starting positions are doing that all that much good because you're going to have to restart, call it 16th and 14th, I think? Or, no, 16th and 18th, I guess. at that point. So you're going to be pretty buried in the back of the field. You're going to have to make this charge again, essentially, in race number 2 with the invert.
Absolutely, and I mean, handling starting to go on both of these machines. I've watched Cozy. I mean, this car looks like a handful. A little further ahead, Justin Champagne trying to make a move on Briar LaPrade for the 2nd position. I mean, if you're Cozy at this point, are you just hoping for a caution and, you know, maybe some pit road shenanigans to shake things up?
I think you'll take anything, quite frankly, at this point, because the field is now really strung out. Everybody's single file for the first time all night, as some of the drivers who have struggled with tire wear, Smithley in particular, is really fallen off the pace. He's back to 12. So I wonder if he burned off too much of his tires early on in this race, as we now have hit 5 laps to go. The leaders are still tucked in pretty close to one another. Now, they're not too much separation, or there isn't too much separation, rather, between Butler, LaPrade, and Champagne. But it's just enough to where I'm not sure if it's going to make a difference. However, battle for second between Champagne and LaPrade might be one worth watching, because that could go down to the end of this race.
And I mean, we've talked a lot about the pressure on Cozy to make up spots here. He's right on the tail end of Gabe Wood, but I mean, is there any pressure on Frisch, you think, at this point, with the cars side by side ahead of him, to potentially open up that gap even more? Is a big move from Cozy to get past Gabe Wood. Gabe Wood's going to look down to the inside. Meanwhile, a big checkup ahead of Frisch, and he's going to nab 2 more spots potentially.
How on earth did Justin Champagne find a way to execute that slider and get up in front of Briar just in time? I thought for certain there was going to be contact there in the middle of 2, but he was able to just clear Briar LaPrade, kill LaPrade's momentum on corner exit, and that allowed Frisch to get not only the 3rd position, but more importantly, another spot ahead of Michael Cozy Jr.
Laps ticking down here at Atlanta, and now Cozy's going to have to go all the way. You see this gap right here. I mean, he's going to have to chase down Briar, get past him, and somehow hope that he can outgain Frisch. I mean, it's going to be difficult, but he's just got to stop the bleeding right now.
Something. The last thing you need to be doing is giving up points, because at that point, you're almost hoping that Frisch gets caught up in some sort of wreck. You'd have to make up 11 points at that point. That's a tall task for anybody, not just some of the best of the best. And when it's Frisch, you're going to be in for a dogfight in that sense, because you know he's not going to give up positions easy. He is battling a little bit further back as they come to the white flag. Sean Butler 1 lap away from victory.
Cozy made a big move. He got past Briar. And again, it's just about stopping the bleeding. There's only going to be a 2-point deficit at this point as they run. I mean, he's going to need a big screw up here, but that's a big move for Cozy and could potentially play a role into race number 2.
As they continue to fight, you watch Sean Butler. Family ties to New York, currently resides in Florida, and tonight he will cross the Florida-Georgia line and go north and claim the checkered flag in race number 1 of the Soundhead Entertainment 250. Sean Butler, your winner in core in the first race of the doubleheader, as there's typical core chaos and somebody barrel rolling there in the middle of 1 and 2.
Cozy actually went up to Frisch and gave him a little love tap on the side there. Said, hey, I got your number. Race 2, baby.
He's going to need to be able to get his number and a little bit more than that. As you get a good look at Sean Butler's car. Butler, I believe this might be... Is this first win of the season? We'll cross-check. It may well be. I could be... Yes, it is. Okay, my memory has not faded me. First one of the season for Sean Butler, which is a little bit wild to think about when you consider how fast he is in this car, especially at the intermediate tracks.
Absolutely, but I mean, he hasn't been able to join us for all the 1.5 miles in every event that we've had this year, but we're grateful that he was able to come out here and, man, a heck of a race 1 here. We're in store for a good one in race 2 here at the Soundhead Entertainment 250.
Sean Butler burns it down at Atlanta. Here are your unofficial results for race number 1. Butler, Champagne, and Frisch, your podium, and crucially, Frisch finishes ahead of Michael Cozy Jr. and extends his point lead going into the final race of the season. So it was 9. It will be a little bit more for Frisch when we take the green flag in the second half of our doubleheader. LaPrade finished off the final spot in the top 5. Then it was Gabe Wood, Dave Schulthouse, Ryan Vargas, Davin Cornelius, Preston Pardis makes his core debut in Season 6 with the top 10, Gary Owen and Jonathan Cadell, 11th and 12th.
And rounding out the field here, we'll just look on. Garrett Smithley, 13th after a strong run early. Joey Stone, 14th. Wes Graham in 15th. Case Collenbach comes home in the 16th position. Dale Reynolds in 17th. Rusty Walrus, 18th. Robert Dorman in 19th. Rounding out your top 20, Malad Radman. TCB, 21st. And Corey Vervinkt, after starting on the pole, comes home in 22nd from Atlanta.
Which means we'll start on the pole for race number 2 as well. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back on the other side with the final race of the season and the second race of the doubleheader for the Soundhead Entertainment 250 at the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway Core, presented by SimWrapMarket.com, coming your way with more action next on the FTF.GG Twitch channel.
Time that we
Welcome back to STF.GG's coverage of the Soundhead Entertainment 250 season finale for the 6th version and 6th run of Core presented by SimWrapMarket. Let's talk to our race 1 winner, Sean Butler. And Sean, I was stunned. I, for some reason, thought that you had a win at some point during the season before this because it's the Gen 4 and that's what you do in these cars. So when I looked at the spreadsheet, it shocked me a little bit, but for you to pull this off and in the way that you did, just basically picking off people one by one, how good does it feel to be back in victory lane?
I mean, it feels good. I mean, it's been an up and down season, mostly down for me this year. I haven't been able to run as many races as I wanted to, and been up front in a few of them. Just got like really bad luck as per usual for me sometimes, but it was good. I felt pretty fast all race. Kind of felt a little OP on the top there. I mean, still waiting patiently for iRacing to kind of adjust the grip at this track, but nonetheless, it was fun. I had to throw it in there on Garrett to take the lead at the end of that race, and I was able to somehow make it stick. But overall, it was fun racing at the front, though. Breyer, Garrett, Cozy, Frisch, Champagne, everybody up there had a pretty good battle, and it was fun being around those guys, and good to recover from whatever the heck happened on the first lap, if you can call it that. But good to be back in victory lane for sure.
With the way this race set up and the way this track is racing under the weather conditions, what was more difficult? Timing the sliders correctly to make sure that you got up in front of somebody, or managing tire wear, especially over the course of the green flag run that ended the race?
Yeah, I would say kind of both. I mean, you really had to pick your spots when you passed. You, of course, wanted to get to someone's outside if you want to pass to them or pass them. So you kind of saw if you were paying attention to the lead battle there. I kind of let Breyer go at one point when we were 3 wide when I was stuck on the bottom, and I tried to just swing it to the top immediately and set myself up to be where I want to be going into 1 and 2. So just kind of little things. You got to be 2 steps ahead, really, in races like this, especially when the top is the way to go. But I was kind of surprised. The right front was wearing out a lot more at the end of that run, and I was getting really tight off of turn 2 at the end of the race. So I kind of managed that. So I stored that away for if and when we get a long run. But I don't know. I'd say kind of both for that. But if I had to choose one, maybe passing and setting yourself up would be the main focus there.
Also, care to give us an Orlando Magic update?
I don't want to after last night because they got absolutely blown out by the Miami Heat. But are they playing? I don't think they're playing tonight. Let me take a gander.
Just in general, it wasn't necessarily after last night. I know last night was fun, but just how we doing, because not a lot of people get regular updates on the Magic.
I know, man.
You can give them to us.
Outside of Florida, not really, but no one really cares about them. But they're a young team. They're an up-and-coming team. They maybe need to make a move or two at the trade deadline to kind of, clear some cap and fill some needs. But they're coming. Give them one more year, and I think they'll be a force in the Eastern Conference to be reckoned with. I know your Sixers are dealing with the loss of Joel Embiid, and that's not a good thing. But they're actually getting torched by the Warriors right now, from what I heard. That's neither here nor there. But give the Magic one more year. They'll make some noise in the East for sure.
I suppose I should make clear to you and everybody else that the Philadelphia affiliation only goes to baseball, because Charlotte's got teams everywhere else. So we sit in the Hornets camp. There's a slight love for the Sixers, but I just I'm glad that Brandon Miller actually panned out. I did not think that was going to work over Scoot Henderson, but beyond that, we're still waiting for the team to become more valuable than the brand, which hasn't happened yet, but maybe will someday. But at any rate, we'll let everybody get back to racing and not bore them with the basketball top. Sean, congratulations on your win in race 1. Best of luck in race number 2.
Appreciate it, James. Really quick, I want to ask Caleb, what the hell happened to your camera in the beginning? I saw the beginning of the broadcast, and
we had problems. I literally had it set up. It was fine, and then I tried adjusting it, and it just went that, and then failed to connect to my computer. So we're buying another one. I got one ready for the Best Buy order. I'm going to pick it up tomorrow, so we won't have this issue in the future, but it was a tragedy pre-race for sure.
Well, rest in peace, your camera, but looking forward to the new one. But I'll let you get back to it, boys. We'll blame Zach somehow for that, and we'll call it even.
It's definitely Zach's fault.
Also, Sean, you should follow Caleb on Twitter.
That is true.
Do I not follow you on Twitter? I thought I do.
You do not follow me on Twitter.
Wow, I will continue to not follow you on Twitter for the next 30 minutes, but I will get to it, I promise.
Shake your hand at North Wilkesboro.
God, man, I will never forgive you for that. Still gives me nightmares. But best of luck, guys. Have fun up here.
How unfortunate. What a shame. No love between drivers and the commentators on social media and core. Of course, it's how it goes. Meanwhile, Caleb, you've got somebody else that I think has something to say, or not. Maybe, who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm pissed.
I'm here with, Cozy. You're 2 points down now. It's an 11-point gap. What's the plan? Race 2.
Win again, and if I don't get wrecked. If I get wrecked, then we're gonna have a problem. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get to the front. It's a very difficult thing to do because we get one groove that works past a couple of laps, which is really exciting. So I'm gonna just try my damnedest to get on up in there and see what happens. And I don't know, maybe we'll get some better luck this time.
Hey, well, I appreciate you taking the time. We'll send you back down to get some focus here while you're on the grid. So appreciate it, and good luck here, Cozy.
Thanks, I'm gonna need it.
That is Championship 1 contender in Cozy.
All right, so Cozy's got work to do. Here's your grid for race number 2, the final race of Season 6 of Core. Second race of the doubleheader of the Soundhead Entertainment 250. Corey Vervink back on pole. TCB to his outside. That's row 1. Row 2, it's Malad and Robert Dorman. Rusty Walrus will roll off from the 5th spot alongside Dale Reynolds. Case Callenbach starts to the inside of row 4. To his outside, West the Mess 88, Wes Graham on Twitch. Joey Stone rolls off for the 9th spot. 10th on the grid belongs to Garrett Smithley.
Looking on back, row 6 inside, Jonathan Cadell will roll off in 11th, going to his outside in 12th. Row number 7 is going to have DT and Ryan Vargas once again, just as how they started in race number 1. Looking on back to 15th, David Schildhaus starts alongside Gabe Wood in the 04 machine. Then behind them, Brian Pratt, Michael Cozy Jr. is going to have a 1-spot advantage on the guy in row number 10, Michael P. Frisch. Rounding out the field, your race 1 winner, Sean Butler.
Caleb, would you be so kind as to walk us through the championship clinching math for Michael P. Frisch?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I'll do my best Justin Malillo impression here. But, so race number 1 here, Michael P. Frisch finished 3rd. Cozy finished 4th. So that is a 2-point discrepancy. They were 9 points coming in, so now they are 11 points apart. Now, if you're wondering what position that would be for everybody, Cozy basically, I mean, he's going to have to win this thing because if Michael P. Frisch finishes any better than 5th in this race, that is the magic number for that number 58 machine, 5th place, then he will guaranteed be your Core Season 6 champion. Even if Cozy wins, even if Cozy gets every bonus point that could ever be given out ever, Frisch will win with a 5th place or better finish tonight. So Michael Cozy Jr., his main goal is to just go out here, get a dub, end your season out on top, and let everything else hopefully play out. I hope some cars get in the bar visuals machine way.
So that is the math for Cozy, for Frisch, for company. And before we get going, a big thanks to all the partners that help make this league go. Soundhead Entertainment, our presenting partner for this evening. FTF.GG, responsible for the streams as well. MAT Liveries, Gabe Wood, Eric Messer Photography, the official photographer of Madhouse, Bowman Gray Stadium, and Core, presented by SimWrapMarket. Brayton Laster, Liarga Security, Splash and Go Graphics. All of those helping to put this together and setting up the stage for 50 laps of action here at Atlanta as we go green flag racing in the second of the doubleheader, and Malad Radman will lead us to green underneath the flag stand for the first time as they work their way into turn 1. He and TCB will be first and second, going through 1 and 2, coming to the backstretch.
Big move already from Cozy. He's going 3 wide a little further back. He's already worked his way almost up into the top 10 here. That was a crazy move he just made on the outside. He's going to go 3 wide. But there is a car there. Everybody's just trying to sort themselves out. Good thing we got a cleaner start than race number 1.
TCB up to the front ahead of Radman. Wes Graham in 3rd. Keeping an eye on our championship contenders. Cozy has made it up to 6th. And Frisch is buried back in 15th. So watch that. If that doesn't change all that much, we'll see. Plenty of time for it to shuffle a bit. But big start from Cozy to get things going early.
I mean, he just shot out of a cannon and passed, it felt like 5 rows of cars there. And that's going to be really important. He's got Rusty down to his inside, but to not get collected in any of these incidents, what better way than to just lead the pack and be up at the front, I feel.
Well, remember the principle of core. Whenever we have these races,
Rusty and Vargas.
Wow, Rusty just doored Vargas, and Vargas will spin on the back straightaway. Caution flag is out.
I'm not sure what happened there. I think the 59 just lost the bottom, and the 26 was in the way. Look at this with Schildhouse as well.
There's the wrecked Briar LaPrade machine. He got absolutely torn to pieces in that incident. As we'll take a look at the replay here, see what happened. Rusty got tight on exit, bounced right into Vargas. Vargas did his absolute best to try and hang on to it, and then all of a sudden just couldn't hold it. LaPrade actually was okay. Looking at this, he didn't actually cause most of the damage to that car. It was largely self-inflicted. He overcorrected and snapped up at the fence in 3. Watch LaPrade here. Hangs onto it, tries to save it, tries to save it, tries to save it, drifts a little bit, then overcorrects, and boom, into the fence.
And that's just a tough break, but when you have to make evasive maneuvers going 190 miles per hour, these things are bound to happen.
On board from David Schildhouse, who could not avoid the madness entirely. Bounced off of DT. Didn't get as much damage as I thought he did initially, but still with a little bit to the right side of his car. As looks like everybody's going to come down pit road for repairs for the most part, save for TCB and Malad, who had the lead before we went under yellow. So TCB and Malad staying out on 5-lap old tires. Everybody else comes down pit road. Quick reminder here of our track facts and important bits and pieces as we work our way through the second race of this doubleheader. Again, this is Old Atlanta. So 24 degrees of banking in the corners, 5 degrees of banking in the straights. It's a 1.522 mile, 2.449 kilometer quad oval about 30 minutes south of downtown Atlanta. This is the second of 2 50-lap races for Core this evening. 76.1 miles, 123.9 kilometers the distance. Your pit road speed, 45 miles an hour. Your fuel tanks, yet again, set at 75% of their full capacity. So an estimated fuel window of about 32 laps, which these drivers still would have to come down one more time in order to make it if everything holds and we go green from when we take the restart in a few laps all the way through. We'll see how that pans out. So far as the weather is concerned, current local time in Sim is today, a little bit earlier. February 7th, 2024, just after 9:15 a.m. local time. Partly cloudy skies, air temp 65 degrees Fahrenheit, track temp 67 degrees Fahrenheit, winds headed to the west at 3 miles an hour, and humidity of 0%. But again, the track will warm up as we progress through the race, so it should get greasier and looser.
Yeah, and this is going to really be an interesting restart here if we get a green flag run out of this. We were so focused on Cozy's surge to the front. I mean, Frisch had a very good surge as well. He's going to be restarting 8th. His championship rival be starting on that inside in row number 2.
TCB leads us back to green flag racing, but a nice restart from Radman and Butler. And here comes Michael Cozy Jr. to make it 3 wide into turn 1 immediately. Look at Cozy go for the lead right off the top.
Shot out of a cannon, that 99. He's going to slide up in front of Radman. They're going to be 3 wide once again. 10 car with a huge run to the outside, put Cozy to second.
Radman got a good run, so it'll be Radman in control of this. Cozy to second, TCB trying to fight on the inside, but he just can't wind the car up enough to stay alongside the pride of Hagerstown, Maryland, Michael Cozy Jr., who now has second all to himself. TCB tried to slide in behind Butler and almost chopped the nose off of Wes Graham.
Still early on, so lots of time for things to play out, but you know after how race 1 went, that 99 car wants the lead. Not going to be that simple, though. Here comes race 1 winner, Sean Butler. He might look here for second as Cozy's going to look up to the middle lane to try to get a run on Radman.
Oh, here we go. Crossover, as I thought we might see from Michael Cozy Jr. just to get alongside Radman and break up his momentum. Now the send. Cozy to the bottom, up to the top of the racetrack. Will Radman be able to counter? He'll drive to the inside.
Oh, man.
And just about got taken out there. Sean Butler was right there. Will Radman be able to do the same? Cozy with a heavy pinch there in the middle of the corner. That takes the air off the rear of Radman's car, the Woolwich Wanderers machine, back to second and maybe to third as Butler works the outside.
Cozy gets past Radman, but the battle is not over. Sean Butler, he's going to look to the outside. Radman on the inside. It's an attack on two fronts right now. Cozy's going to be able to hold them both off, though, off turn number 2 for the number 99. He has Sean Butler breathing down his neck for the lead as they go into turn 3.
Cozy versus Butler, and Frisch just needs one more spot to have that mathematical clinch as they run. If he finishes 5th or better and Cozy wins, it will be Michael P. Frisch's title, but Cozy's got a whole handful full of Sean Butler to the inside, trying to go back-to-back and double up here in Atlanta, but he didn't quite get the run he needed, and he got way loose off the corner and just slid in front of Malad ever so slightly. I'd say Radman gave Butler a bit of a break down the backstretch.
Absolutely. He had to get out of that throttle big time and really killed his run. But that's going to give that 99 some breathing room, and he's going to need it right now. Michael P. Frisch knocking on that door of TCB. That would break him into the top 5. And keep in mind, that's the spot that he needs to be in to clinch this championship.
I think if you're Cozy, you want to see this race go green as best as you can, at least for now, because that'll give you at least a little bit more breathing room. If Frisch is able to make something happen, that fight with TCB we will watch closely as 2nd, 3rd, and 4th continue to trade punches with one another. Radman looking for an opportunity, but everybody's starting to work their way up high.
Absolutely, and kind of picking up where we left off at the end of race number 1, where everybody was just really comfortable running that high lane. But the question is, how does that affect your tires for later on in this run? You don't want to be like someone, Garrett Smithley, for example, in race 1, who was just surging early on and then fell off a cliff later on in that race.
And you wonder, especially when you take Frisch into consideration, will that happen for TCB? Will that happen for Wes Graham? Will that happen for Radman or Butler or anybody? But it may not matter because he just sent it in deep underneath. TCB got the spot, and Michael P. Frisch, if this race ended now, would be your Season 6 score presented by SimWrapMarket.com champion no matter what happened. But we still have almost 35 laps to go.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, if this race ended now, yeah, but we still got 35 laps to figure this thing out. And I mean, we're not only discounting everybody in front of Frisch right now, but I mean, how do you think Frisch feels? How is he driving that car? Is he burning the tires off of it, trying to get back to the 99? Keep in mind, he still has TCB behind him. He's got Garrett Smithley, Ryan Vargas. I mean, there are true contenders that could take that spot away from him if they so please. But right now, it is clean and green racetrack for the number 99 of Michael Cozy Jr. going into turn number 1.
And remember, if we don't get a yellow at some point in this race, around, maybe right around now-ish, it depends on how things would fall with the cautions, but we're just now beginning to enter the window in which you could pit and make it without having to stop. We're still about 2 laps away, I think, from being comfortable, but that's something that I think you can consider. And especially if you're in the back of the field, I don't see why you wouldn't just try and come down anyway and just see if it works out for you. If everything goes green, take the chance, see what happens. If you're buried back in the field, it's a shot, right?
And I mean, I feel like if you're in the back half of the field, if you're in a position where you got nothing to lose, then absolutely. But we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. Frisch picks off another. He's going to move up to the 4th position, put him past Wes Graham, and now he's going to be breathing down the neck of Radman for the 3rd spot.
Also worth noting, I don't know if we can go on board with him, but Frisch may be clutching on corner entry to try and save you a little bit of fuel. We'll listen in.
I mean, not quite sure I heard it there. Getting a great run though, and he'll put him into the 3rd spot. But that is something that these drivers have in their back pocket. If they want to gamble, if they want to try, we saw it last year in the season 5 finale with Brian LaPrade and David Schildhouse coming down to fuel strategy. I mean, it's something that they can utilize if they want to. I think Frisch right now is just worried about trying to get to the 99 machine in the lead.
Just off of basic math, if you're clutching and committing to that strategy like Frisch is, that probably nets you about a lap, I'd say, over the course of a green flag run. Not a lot, but again, fine margins could be everything in this. As Radman, I can't tell, might be starting to fall off here. We know that he had trouble in the first race maintaining long run speed, and we may see the same issue again. Smithley was also one of the cars that fell off towards the back half of that first race. So 2 drivers to watch here. Vargas and Graham actually had decent speed late, so maybe just a trade of spots in line for these two as it were.
Absolutely. Garrett Smithley is picking him off as well, kind of a reverse of what he did in race number 1. He's got Ryan Vargas down to his inside. They got really racy there for a second, saw him in a pack almost looking 3 wide, but it seems to have calmed down for right now as we are just 4 laps shy of halfway. And everybody throughout this field really is just kind of ticking laps off and trying to get us to the end of core season 6.
So Frisch in control of the title fight. Cozy in control of the race. What about that? Just a little bit further back, that was Joey Stone and I believe Gabe Wood that bounced off of the wall there right by the start-finish line. You can see the right side of Wood's car caved in just a little bit. I don't know if Stone got too much damage, but either way, an opportunity for David Schildhouse to gain a little bit on both of them. He now in the 12th position, looking for 11th. To the outside of Wood he goes.
And that was a big moment for sure. They had a little back and forth over the radio, but they'll let bygones be bygones, it feels like. David Schildhouse trying to get to the outside of that 04 machine now. This is your first real battle on the racetrack, and it's for 11th.
Everybody else largely single file. Stone trying to work to the inside of TCB. He's also in the mix there. Radman's been able to maintain his position in the 4th spot. I was not certain that the long run speed would quite be there, but I think he's figured out something between this first race and the second. However, look at all the drivers behind this group. Smithley is there, Vargas is there, and the problem that Radman's going to run into pretty quickly here is that you may be able to block Smithley, but if you block Smithley, that'll leave the door wide open for Vargas to go wherever he pleases on the racetrack, so long as it's not the same lane as the 2 cars ahead of him.
Absolutely, but he's got to focus on one of them at a time here, because if you start thinking about both of them here, I think you're just forcing yourself into a mental error at that point. So you got to be super careful, and it's just not easy when you have both these cars right on your back bumper. They're side by side behind you. Look at Vargas here. And I think the big question right now, James, is, if this thing does go green, if we stay calm like we are right now, still side by side here, talk about a money stop. It's all your entire season practically is going to come down to one stop here at Atlanta.
Also, while we have a moment, let's take a second to appreciate the way that Ryan Vargas has grown as a driver in this sim, especially in the past year. Picked up the final championship of Monday Night Racing earlier this week. As we have Stone on pit road. He's the first of the cars to come down for service. But Vargas, initially, I think it was just let me race. Smithley's going to get the fence there, and that'll give the opportunity for Radman and Vargas and maybe Goen and Wes Graham to clear the Ligonier, Pennsylvania native. But initially, it was Vargas being the real-life race car driver who also ran on the sim as well, but especially in this past year or so, he really has started to pick it up on the sim, and he's grown into a legitimate contender in a lot of the races he runs, and tonight no exception. He's been near the front of the field, not only in this race, but in the first race of the doubleheader too.
Look into him, and you can see the focus as he's looking down to the inside of Radman, going to go side by side down the backstretch. He had a big moment off turn 4 last time by. Lost the rear end and had to go all the way down to that triable grass just to keep it going straight. Oh, and contact now between Vargas and Radman. That's going to be a caution, and that's going to change the entire outlook of this race. Contact between Radman and Vargas off 4.
I think the most impressive thing for both of them is that they stayed off the racing line while they spun out. They were down in the infield and then on the grass, and neither of them really came back up into the surface. So one of those, you throw the caution because you do in situations like that, but they drove so well through that in theory you could have avoided it, though I don't blame Ben Easterday for throwing it there in that situation, because you expect one of them to come back up onto the track and hit somebody, right? But a testament to the skill of these two drivers to keep it down low.
Absolutely, but again, that flips the entire race on its head for Cozy, who has the lead right now. We had a lot of cars down on the pit lane that we're going to have to sort through track position wise right now to figure out the running order for this restart. But I mean, how does this affect strategy? We'll take a look at this wreck first.
The simple answer there is that Radman was really trying to arc it off the corner, and I don't think had any idea that Vargas was underneath him and just drove right down. That's the simple answer. It was a pretty hard turn left off the fence, and Vargas didn't really have anywhere to go. However, to your point, Caleb, you have the leaders coming down pit road, but then you've got the drivers who were not waiting for their opportunity to pit, who are going to get the chance to cycle around. So we're going to see some of the drivers who actually started up near the front back in control of things, albeit with slightly older tires. They'll take the wave around as the leaders come in for service.
And I mean, again, I feel like no question 4 tires and fuel is the move here. It's just who has better execution. Looks like everybody off. Sean Butler is trying to get there, but I think it's going to be Cozy off at pit road. Going to be a drag race to the line. I think it's going to be Cozy.
Cozy by inches, and not many inches at that. It was tight. It was very, very, very tight between that bunch. So this will be interesting because we'll see who gets sorted out here. As it stands, Goen and Joey Stone, they had already both pit, so they get the wave around. They now become the 2 race leaders, albeit with 2 and 4 lap older tires than anybody else, respectively.
Again, got to figure out everybody's running order here. It looks like Joey Stone and Goen's going to stay on the racetrack here.
Is everybody else going to get the chance to come down pit road and sort this out? Credit to the magician in race control that is Ben Easterday.
Absolutely.
Truly, legitimately one of the best. One of the very, very best in all of oval racing on the sim. No question. Lots of love to Ben, and lots of love to Josh Mendoza as well, who has the same role over at eRacer for the Firecracker 400 and associated events. But 2 fabulous gentlemen and 2 very, very excellent racetrack.
Absolutely, and I mean, can take a second here just to, core for a while, until Ben came along here and kind of righted the ship. I mean, this is the best that core has been in years. That expectation that you come into every Wednesday night or every Monday night, whenever we run, that it's going to be an absolute banger. I feel like that wasn't around until Ben kind of took over and had as much involvement as he does. So, I mean, the events that you watch every Wednesday here on FTF, it would not be possible without Ben, would not be possible without DT. You got to give them their roses for setting up just, again, the best league on the sim. Like, just no question. We're here every Wednesday night. It's core, baby. And this is going to be the most bittersweet final 25 laps of my life because I don't know what I'm going to do when this thing ends. But we still got a championship to settle, and I am so excited to watch how it plays out here.
You know what you should do, Caleb?
What? What should I do?
Come Monday, you should watch Autobahn here on FTF.tg.
I knew that was coming.
And/or pay attention to the Bar Visuals FTF Grand National Series, which will run on Monday nights and resume. Season opener was this week at Daytona, but they are back in action at Mount Panorama with the cars of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. The day after the Daytona 500 as our drivers come past the choose cone and decide where they want to restart. So, yeah, Xfinity cars on the mountain for 2 hours. We're going to hate ourselves or love ourselves. I'm going to drive. It'll be fun.
Man, that's going to be a lot of fun. But hey, look at this. You got Cozy and Sean on the front row here. Look who's on the outside in the second row. You got Michael P. Frisch right here. I mean, does this kind of give you 2016 Homestead vibes? I feel like we got a little Carl Joey situation going on. I don't know. We'll see.
The question we'll have to answer is, do we have a proper Carl and do we have a proper Joey as we go back to Green Flag Racing? And Cozy waited and waited and waited in the box, and it's going to cost him because Sean Butler will clear everyone and go to the point, and Gabe Wood will try and do the same from the bottom. He will be door-to-door with Cozy, but Butler will take control of the race.
Cozy, I feel a big move coming. He might try to send it down to the inside. As soon as I say it, he thought about it, but didn't commit to it. He's going to ride in tow with that number 32 machine. He's got Michael P. Frisch riding right behind him. Breyer in this line as well. David Schildhouse, a bunch of different contenders. But look at Cozy all over the back bumper of Sean Butler for the lead. He's going to sit again just in the tire tracks of the 32 for now. Now he ducks down to the inside to try to take it away.
Oh, they bounce off each other, and somehow Cozy was able to gather it back up. But remember what Cozy said in the interview between races. He said that you can only race for about 2 or 3 laps, and then the groove becomes pretty locked in. So I think he knows just as well as anybody else, if you are going to make this pass on Sean Butler, you have to get it done within the next handful of laps, or there may not be another opportunity.
Here comes Brian LaPrade, big send down to the inside. He's going to try to do a slide job on both championship contenders here. Somehow pulls it off, but Cozy's going to have the run. Will he get the crossover in on him? No, he's going to sit in line with them.
Last thing that Cozy needs is to be dropping spots to other drivers. It may create a buffer in the end if he can get around them, and Frisch stays tucked behind them. But for now, Cozy needs the 2 positions, and then he needs a little bit more help, because even if he got them, it would only leave Frisch in 4th, and any finish in the top 5 is good enough for Frisch to win the title no matter what Cozy does.
And that's the battle to watch right now is can these guys behind Frisch get past him while Cozy continues to work on the Brian LaPrade and Sean Butler machines. Garrett Smithley was looking to the outside for just a second on Michael P. Frisch with David Schildhouse behind him. That would be the gap that Cozy needs to win this championship with 14 laps to go across the stripe.
Michael Cozy Jr., Michael P. Frisch, both of them fighting to become the very first 2-time champion in the history of Core, presented by SimWrapMarket.com. Right now, Frisch has the advantage, but Michael Cozy Jr. is starting to run down LaPrade, and LaPrade got all sorts of sideways there on the exit of 4, and that may give Michael Cozy Jr. the opportunity to make a move, but for the moment, he stays in line.
Cozy's been a lot more patient on this run than I would have anticipated. Look at the battle behind him. Cozy, Frisch, he's watching these side-by-side battles happen behind him. Schildhouse was all the way down to the inside. Garrett Smithley as well. They just haven't been able to seal the deal on the 58 machine. I would have expected a lot more aggressiveness out of the 99 here, based on what he was doing earlier on in this run. Laps are ticking by, and only 12 laps to go separate Michael P. Frisch, Michael Cozy Jr., and a Core championship.
Everybody pinned up along the fence on the outside of the racetrack now. I think that's Gabe Wood who caught the fence. Schildhouse will make the pass. Here comes TT to the inside. but Butler still in control of this, looking to sweep the evening. We haven't had that too much. LaPrade trying to do everything he can, but he just ends up getting himself loose on corner exit, and whatever gains he makes on one end of the racetrack, he's given up on the other end for about 2 of the last 4 or 5 laps now.
And keep in mind, there's an additional buffer there from first to second. It's going to be a 4-point gap instead of the 2 for the rest of the top 10. So if Cozy doesn't win this race, he's going to need additional spots and additional help from everybody trying to get past Michael P. Frisch. So, I mean, Frisch is really still kind of in the catbird seat here. Even though he's watching the 99 pass guys up ahead of him, it still wouldn't be enough. Even if he were able to get Breyer, he's got to get Sean here. Big sin from the 99.
That was really, really nicely executed from Michael Cozy Jr. And LaPrade is fighting a loose race car and has been fighting it more so than just about anybody else in this field. So easy pass there, relatively speaking, for Cozy to get the spot. But he's got to get Butler, and then he's got to hope that somebody, or somebody's plural, because he needs 2 drivers to get around Michael P. Frisch in order to have a shot at the title. Right now, Frisch is 2 spots to the good, and then throwing them out if Cozy doesn't.
Absolutely, but I mean, the blueprint has been laid down. There's 9 laps to go. If you're Cozy in this situation right now, you need Garrett Smithley and David Schildhouse to get past the 58, and then you, on top of all of that, have to go down, chase Sean Butler down for this win, and you'll be the champion. Otherwise, I mean, any other scenario, and Frisch is going to walk out of here with another trophy.
Michael P. Frisch now working to the inside of Brian LaPrade, who begins to fade as we approach the final 10 laps of this race. That's the last thing that Cozy needs to see, and there hasn't really been anybody else behind Frisch that's been able to mount a proper charge. Smithley may have something. Schildhouse has been running well in the back half of this race. He's made up a few spots, so maybe he can get there, but Cozy needs more. Smithley steps out of the way and gets either loose, tight, or in the fence, all 4, I couldn't tell, but Schildhouse takes over the 5th spot.
And you can start to see the anxiety growing for that number 99. Laps are flying off the board at this point, and he is just trying to get to the back bumper of the 32 machine. It's just not happening yet. On board with the 99 machine of Michael Cozy Jr. And he's got to get past his number 32. Michael P. Frisch is right behind him. He's got to get passed by 3 cars at this point.
And then Cozy's got to make the pass on Butler. He's doing his best job, though. He's been able to reel in Butler ever so slightly. So this battle for the lead is certainly not over yet. Meanwhile, Schildhouse continuing his charge as LaPrade gets off the fence. Oh, we have a yellow with 5 laps to go. Malad Radman around on the back straightaway, and the dynamic shifts entirely.
I mean, I feel like this is just storybook, James. I mean, you're telling me after all this, we're going to have the championship contenders running right next to each other, literally nose to tail, and we're going to get a caution inside 5 laps to go in the championship race. Are you kidding me?
I'm very curious to see what this restart entails, because remember that Cozy is in this position either because he didn't get going or because he waited very, very late in the box to go. I couldn't tell which on the last restart, but in either case, he had the lead. He lost it. Butler was ahead before they got to turn 1, and Sean Butler, provided he wins the race all pit road, would be your control car this time around as everybody comes in for stops except Butler. And you have to believe that Sean Butler is looking back on everybody else and kicking the dash or something, because he is the only one that stayed out on pit road.
You got to watch this, though. This is now the money stop. Your season's on the line. Cozy, does he go 2 tires here potentially just to try to make up track position? I mean, I know he's in second, but he wants to make sure he beats Frisch out. He's going to go 4. Looks like everybody else is as well. Breyer got a great stop. Radman spinning it ahead of him.
Might just gone from good to bad to worse for Radman. Meanwhile, as I suspected, Breyer LaPrade and Gary Owen took 2 tires. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. And David Schildhouse as well. All 3 of them. So A little bit of. Oh, yeah, well, go ahead, Caleb. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, again, this blueprint has been laid out. We're going to get the replay, what happened here to put us under caution. You see contact between Radman and Smithley, and Radman actually got up on 2 wheels. But, I mean, we saw that last restart. Cozy shot out of a cannon, making up spots on that high side on fresh tires. Frisch is going to have to do the exact same thing, but he wasn't able to navigate through traffic. I mean, it's just all laid out for Cozy at this point. It's just, can he execute and can Frisch get held up, I think is the question, as you see the chaos that unfolded on the backstretch that put us in this situation. Good caution call by Ben. I mean, this is everything you want out of a championship race here. I don't know if we're going to follow trends of what we saw earlier on in this race or what's going to happen here. I mean, this is just, I can't say it enough. Everything's on the line at this point.
There is some precedent, not necessarily in core, but I can tell you once upon a time, I was calling a league that had its season finale at Atlanta that had a late race caution just like this. And the championship changed hands, I think, 2 or 3 times over the course of the final 2 laps. So there's that. And then you consider all the drivers ahead of Cozy. Butler on 18-lap old tires, everybody else on 2, but that's 4. If Cozy passes all of them and Frisch can't get around them, Cozy would finish first and Frisch would finish 6th. And that would give Cozy the title. All to play for Caleb Hoffman as we get what could be the final restart.
It's going to be crazy, but I mean, it's going to get decided really fast. 3 laps to go. Classic green-white checker. Sean Butler, David Schildhouse going to lead us to the green, baby.
Here we go. Field back up to full song, and there goes Cozy straight to the middle.
The entire field wrecks behind him. Frisch somehow saved it, and we're going to get another restart. Steel Horses in it. Radman as well.
But most importantly, Michael P. Frisch is involved here, and he will have 2 laps to make this up from wherever he's going to restart. It looks like he'll get his spot back, but still.
And again, that just happened when you saw it. The car just snapped. The same thing we saw in those initial 2 restarts. I mean, you're just putting too much power to the floor, spinning the rear tires, and I don't even know how to describe what I just saw.
We will see the replay here, get a good look at this. Everybody coming down pit road. So here's the initial restart. Watch Cozy in particular, blue and orange car in the middle. As they get up to full stong, LaPrade spun the tires a little bit. Cozy goes to the middle. Frisch tries to keep a nose underneath him. Gary Owen doesn't realize he's 4. He slides up the track a little bit, pinches. There's your incident. But in Gary's defense, in most cases, you're not 4 wide in that case.
Well, I mean, what worse spot to be in? You spin the tires, and the 2 guys above you are the championship contenders. I mean, there's just no worse spot to be in. But either way, Frisch with damage. I mean, what's the call here? Do you come down and just hope to fix the damage in time, or what? But I mean, everything you've worked for up to this point could be in jeopardy, and you see it make significant contact back here as well.
He almost got through it, and then I think it was Cadell and Frisch that made contact just sort of as collateral as everybody else was going around. So, we've got our answer from Frisch. He's going to stay out, currently scored in the 6th position. If Cozy wins, that's enough to flip the title chase. But he has to win, and Frisch cannot gain any more spots.
I mean, I got to collect my heart rate at this point, Pike. I mean, there's just nothing else I feel like we can do. This is going to... All bets are off at this point. I mean, a championship is on the line.
If you're Frisch, don't you hate the fact that Radman and Smithley got into each other a few laps ago?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not going to say it, but that was looking pretty good for the 58 machine, and all of a sudden, again, that's why that caution is so important. It flips everything on its head, and now, depending on how this restart goes, things might be looking dire for the Michael P. Frisch camp.
But remember, if you're Frisch, he now has scored in 7th after timing and scoring is reset. We'll see where he goes with the choose. But all you have to do if you're Frisch is get 2 spots. Doesn't matter what happens with Cozy. You get 2 spots, period. That's your title, right? So I almost think if you're trying to break it down and compartmentalize it, and if I'm in Frisch's position, that's where I'm going with this.
Absolutely, but I mean, you got to think as well, a lot of this is momentum based, and if you're Frisch right now, all of a sudden you're like, I can't seriously lose this, right? You know, you're just kind of going over everything in your head over and over. I think, you know, if you're Frisch in this scenario, you just got to lock in. Like you said, get 2 spots is all you need to win this championship. But Cozy, same thing he needs, only 2 spots, and he needs Frisch to get caught up. So we'll see if it happens, but gonna get our answers right here.
Our second attempt at a green-white checker. Will it be the last? Cleaner restart here. Another great jump there from Cozy. Everybody fanning out in the middle, and there goes Cozy straight to the point, to the outside. They wreck behind. Cozy's in front. The wreck is off the racing line. Will stay green flag racing, but Michael P. Frisch has already made it up to 4th.
Frisch has the track position. Caution on the racetrack. Cozy had the lead. They're wrecking again. Robert Dorman on the backstretch. TCB as well. And my goodness, James, it seems like we've caught ourselves in a loop here, but again, all of a sudden, Cozy's going to be the control car here, and that's what's going to be important.
Cozy's the control car, but Michael P. Frisch gained so many spots in so little time and got exactly what he needed to, because now he's back within the top 5, even if Cozy wins.
Well, I think the big thing, too, is you look at the cars around Frisch. Look at Sean Butler, who we know he has speed. We know he knows how to get it done. No damage on that race car. Brian LaPrade was just in the top 3 for a majority of the race. If he can get a good restart here, how does that look? So, I mean, this thing is not sealed up yet. And I think everything is still on the table at this point.
And Butler came down to get tires, too, after staying out.
Oh, man.
So that's worth considering, too. This is the first incident that happened that I noted very briefly as they went through 1 and 2. It was TCB wrecking in turn 2 that actually brought out the yellow flag. So, but there were about 2 or 3 different incidents in the middle of 1 and 2. There's Joey Stone spinning the tires in the restart, but watch TCB here. Rusty and Going get together. TCB, though, is able to roll on and carry on, and then ends up in turn 2, and then okay. Caleb, I think I saw what I saw there. Do we perhaps have a case of some bells ringing, perhaps? could we potentially need the help of one Travis Brown for that one?
Potentially a slogan, and you see TCB just loses the back end. Dorman has nowhere to go. That's the contact that puts us under the yellow. And I mean, the big thing here is, you know, if you get that caution on the initial contact there, it's a lot different race than what we have right now. I mean, that extra 500 feet really has put us in a difficult spot. Look at Breyer. He gets out of the way. Cozy just, again, out of a cannon, up the outside, has the momentum. Through turns 1 and 2 is just able to rocket by David Schildhaus. I think he, being a control car here, if he's able to get this done, if he's able to win the championship, that restart right there is going to be why.
And worth noting that everybody that was on 2, they've all pitted. It might not make a difference, but we'll keep note of that. So, just looking at the tire situation, so far as your leaders are concerned, Cozy, Smithley, and Frisch, along with Kallenbach and Graham in 5th and 6th, all 9-lap-old tires. Sean Butler, who's raced up towards the front with 5-lap-old tires. Everybody else from Cadell in 7th, back to Gary Owen in 13th on 5-lap-old tires, and then Schildhaus and company from 14th on back all just came down pit road. But Butler then becomes the wild card in this. We'll see whether or not Graham or Cadell or anybody has anything for Frisch on the older tires. But what does green-white checker attempt number 3 bring us, Mr. Caleb Hoffman?
I mean, it's going to be interesting for sure. Frisch is right here, but look who's to his outside. Sean Butler, he and Sean, or Cozy and Sean rather, have been working together all night. So, you know, Sean's going to want to try to get past Frisch here early. Pace car's off, and let's find out, Pike.
He went a little bit earlier, but he still did not get going. A conservative restart there for Michael Cozy Jr. Can Garrett Smithley get clear of the 99 on the exit of turn 2? I think they'll be door to door, but again, Cozy caught napping a little bit, and it may cost him the title as these 3 scoot away from Frisch. Does anybody have anything for Frisch a little bit further back?
Oh, Cozy, a big send. He's going to go all the way to the wall. He's going to lose the momentum. Here comes Garrett Smithley. Contact between the 99 and the 4. White flag from Atlanta, and Sean Butler in the lead.
Butler clear. Butler on fresh tires. The worst scenario possible for Michael Cozy Jr., who now has maybe 2/3 of a lap to try and get both spots as Michael P. Frisch holds the 4th spot. Wes Graham working to his inside. Cozy with the send of a lifetime, and he's going to clear Garrett Smithley, but it won't be enough to get back to the front. He bounces off the fence. Sean Butler sweeps the night at Atlanta. They wreck along the front stretch, and it will be one Michael P. Frisch who becomes the first ever 2-time champion in the history of Core. Frisch is your Season 6 champion of Core, presented by SimWrapMarket.com.
What a way to end the season right there. What a season there.
If there's one thing I can say immediately in the aftermath, it's that Michael Cozy Jr. did absolutely everything he could and then some. He tried. He certainly gave it every effort he could. But it was that restart again. He was just a little bit tentative compared to some of the other drivers, and it just didn't quite click. It allowed Smithley and Butler to get clear, and that ultimately became a deficit that he could not make up. Credit to Sean Butler for staying out when everybody else came down pit road, getting the quick yellow, coming back down pit road to get tires, and then driving through the field over the span of maybe 2 or 3 restarts to get the victory in the second race. We should not take away from that, but there's a replay of Cozy's final lap and a half or so. There's the big send on Smithley coming to the white. They were 3 wide for the lead coming down the front straightaway.
Absolutely huge here. And I mean, that send in turn 3 took Cozy out of position. He lost all that momentum off exit, and Sean and Garrett were just able to drive away. The drive of his life for Michael Cozy Jr., but comes up just short. My goodness.
He thought about going, you could tell there, he thought about going into Sean and then put the brakes on it and just said, you know what, I'm going to stay put. And then contact there with Smithley rather, who ends up in the fence. Still got second in the race, but not enough ultimately in the end. It was enough, however, for Sean Butler, who gets his second win. Didn't start all the races, but got 2 wins here on the night at Atlanta. Sweeps the Soundhead Entertainment 250. Butler, your winner. Smithley, second. Cozy, third in the race. Wes Graham, fourth. And Michael P. Frisch had to finish 5th no matter what. If Cozy won, Cozy didn't win, he still finishes 5th to get the title.
And I mean, an absolutely incredible way to end the season here. Let's scroll through the rest of your results here. You can see the usual suspects. Brian LaPrade, a tough finish there for him. 16th, that DT, TCB, Rusty, and Corey rounding out your field. But I mean, let's get a talk with the man.
We get a chance to chat with our race winner first, Sean Butler. Sean, how do we go from sitting duck to driving through everyone to winning this thing in the span of 5 laps? Can you take us through how you were able to climb from the back to the front after the pit stop?
Well, to be honest, Pike, I'm still trying to figure that out. But in the beginning, like I was certain that people would stay out to just get track position with it being that late in the race. But everyone came down. I'm like, well, this is not going to end well. So fortunately, the caution came out quickly, and I only fell back to second because David had the fresher tires there. He was able to get by, and I thought I don't want to be the middle guy in the race for the championships. I'll just pit, get some tires, and just whatever happens happens. And the seas parted once, and then I was able to kind of sneak through the top lane, get a couple spots off the choose when a couple of people chose the bottom, and then you saw what happened there. I mean, Cozy and Garrett got together off of turn 4, and I was able to slip by. And I don't know. That's the best way I could describe it. I'm still trying to figure out how the heck that happened.
You have found something in these Gen 4 cars, especially on the 1.5-mile racetracks. I know you can't share all of your secrets, but for those who are trying to learn how to get better with this car from one of the best in them, is there a tip, a suggestion that you can offer to the fans watching on FTF.GG that might make them a little bit better with these cars?
I mean, you just got to practice with them, really. I mean, you got to race cars that require a lot of throttle control. This car and the 87s, as everybody pretty much knows me on iRacing, they're my go-tos. But it's just all about throttle control. You can't just mat it coming off the corner. You got to just roll into it and just be cautious with everything. But if you could just maintain the rear tires on these, you'll be good to go. And just know where the grip is, especially at Atlanta. I mean, you got to know how to run each line, run the wall, run the bottom. Can't really run the middle in 1 and 2 at least. But just know where this car likes to be and just kind of find your grip levels, and you'll be good to go. So just throttle control, throttle control, throttle control is the best I can say.
Throttle control, big key in these things. You go 2 for 2 in a limited amount of starts here over the course of the season, but with the run like you had tonight, does it give you the thought of maybe trying to clear the schedule out next season for a little bit more core action or a run at a title, perhaps?
Oh yeah, I mean, I love racing this league. I mean, it's got a mixed bag of everybody. All types of skill levels, great personalities. Everyone's pretty close knit. In the series, we'll joke around with each other. During the races and everything. But in races like tonight, it can kind of get serious a little bit, especially for a championship. Like Cozy and Frisch were doing, but it's a good league. Shout out to everybody that puts it on. Davin does a lot of great work for the league. Of course, you guys for putting the broadcast on, and I guess Jacob Hitz, wherever he is, whenever he commentates, he does an okay job, I guess. But it's just a great league. It's really has a good blend of skill and good track combinations. Runs a bit of the old tracks, which I like, and if I can run a lot more next year, I definitely will. So we will see what the schedule looks like, but I will. If they'll have me back, I'll definitely be back next season.
Sean Butler, 2 for 2 tonight at Old Atlanta in the Soundhead Entertainment 250 winner at Atlanta once again.
Thank you, boys. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Butler wins. Caleb Hoffman. We have a very important person to talk to.
Here with How Does It Sound, Michael P. Frisch, 2-time core champion. Talk us through it. That was a very tumultuous end of that race, but you're coming out on top.
Yeah, that race went a lot better than the first race. I will say now. That incident involving me and Cozy, I did flat out turn him there. That was my apologies, but he was able to recover and just finish a spot behind me. But we're able to race it out in race 2. Like real men, and he was throwing haymakers. I give him that. He was throwing everything he had in his book to get around Garrett and Sean up there. After that green-white checkered restart where everyone got kind of bunched up and I got involved and got some heavy rear end damage. I mean, any more laps, I was losing more positions as we were talking. So, it feels good. Pretty dominant season overall with Cozy. We won head-to-head pretty much every race. If he wasn't winning, I was either winning or getting second. Top 5s pretty much throughout the whole entire season. So, I mean, we were neck and neck the whole season, and I can't believe it came down to the last race, almost the final turn. if he would have actually got around Sean there and won, I think we would have ended up going to tiebreakers at that point. Because Wes ended up getting around me. But yeah, just glad to call myself a two-time, honestly.
Yeah, and I mean, what was going through your head? 2 laps to go before everything kind of shook up there in turn 3. But you see Cozy with the lead, and you're sitting well, but you don't ultimately know at the end of the day. I mean, was it just kind of an aggressive go 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 mentality, or were you just going to try to let it play out?
Well, I will say Cozy was definitely one of the guys to beat tonight. He had a really fast pace and was able to run that middle line and hold people off once he got there. So I think it's 5 bonus points if you win the race. So if he won the race and I ended up getting third, I mean, at that point, I mean, I'm sitting 5th or something. I mean, I have to go at that point, and we basically flipped the switch and got really aggressive and made some aggressive moves to put ourselves right there behind him. And it's really tough because you got good guys like Shieldhouse and you got people like Breyer, Vargas, and everyone was kind of on different tire strategies there. So it's really a chess game when it comes there down to the end, who makes the right move and who doesn't.
All right, Mr. Frisch. I feel like we've asked you this question once before, but continuing a long-standing tradition of champions here involved on these broadcasts, of all our champions of the series, we have to know the most important question of all. Michael P. Frisch, what is your favorite sandwich?
Well, it'd have to be a sub. I'm not a sandwich guy, but if it had to be a sub, it would be the pub sub from Publix, the chicken tender. With buffalo sauce and some added ingredients like some jalapeno peppers, banana peppers, salt and vinegar, spice it up. But other than that, that's I'd say that's my number one go-to.
Buffalo chicken tender pub sub. That's good. That's very, very
yes.
good.
As a Floridian, you can't miss up on that.
Yeah, no, you are Floridian, so I will grant you that one, and I will now turn over proceedings to one of the masterminds behind everything that happens at Core to make the official trophy presentation to our Season 6 champion. Please welcome Ben Easterday.
I wouldn't say it's an official thing, but Michael, congrats on yet another Core championship. I can't wait to ship this trophy over to you tomorrow and give you yet another one of these beautiful trophies.
We are counting up to 3 now. If you really want to call me 3-time, I won the summer championship. But no, actually, we'll have to get a new little shelf to get our trophies onto, because I got another one coming over from FTF from last season. So adding up quick. I do say that.
Hell yeah. Well, I appreciate you racing. I appreciate you getting all these trophies. And I want to thank on the broadcast everyone that participated, everyone that watched, for making Core one of the best leagues that I run and one of the best leagues in iRacing.
Mic drop.
Indeed. Michael P. Frisch, congratulations on either your second or third, depending on how you look at it, Core title, but officially within the main Core series, number 2. And no one has more than one. So a special night, a special evening. Hats off to you on a job well done and another Core title.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you for Davin, obviously Ben, who just left, for allowing me to be a part of these races with these guys. The talent field is very wide and it's very open and it's very cool just to be a part of this and to showcase the racing we can do and put on a show. Especially you guys on the broadcast booth, putting it on, making it exciting, putting behind the stories and not just focusing on, P1 and 2, like me, Cozy, or Breyer. You always talk about the guys running 12th or 13th. So shout out to you guys for showcasing that. And obviously North Forest Racing, my home. But other than that, we'll be ready next season to go back to back, make some more history made.
Michael Frisch, history maker, 2-time champion of the Core Series, title winner tonight. We now turn our attention to the driver on the other side of that coin. And just starting off, Cozy, walk us through that final 2-lap run and that last restart in particular.
Oh, well, really sucks going on green. when you're the kind of the first one that has to go, no matter which lane you're in, so you're kind of in a box there, anyways. The goal was to get out in front of everybody, and I don't think I could have done that no matter what lane I was in. Matter of fact, I tested at both lanes and I lost both lanes. So, yeah, I lost my rear end and I had to win the race anyways because I got my rear end wrecked in the first race. So, yeah, I mean, what can you do? I tried.
A long shot in that case then. So was there any thought to try and almost, I don't know if you can anticipate yourself, but is there a world in which you could see somebody really nailing the restart from the lead with this sort of setup?
It depends on how strictly the rules are going to be enforced. I mean, if I can roll into it a little bit, I know where the green's coming out, and so does everybody else. I just happen to be the first one to get up on there. I mean, you know, I certainly could roll it a little bit faster than Garrett there, but I mean, Garrett's on the top and he's ready to go. And then, I mean, Frisch didn't restart worth the hell behind me. And then everybody else slipping on top. So, I mean, again, it's like, I don't know. I try not to do the kind of stuff like that, but that's the kind of stuff that makes you lose. So what are you going to do?
What sort of positives do you take away from another strong performance in court, another successful season?
Well, the positives, I can go into season 7 and just raise Frisch the hell I want. Use him up. I got a lot to use up. As a matter of fact, there's a couple other people. I got wrecked a lot this season, so I'm gonna have my fun and enjoy the races we had here, and I'm definitely gonna take into consideration and think about it next season, especially depending on the roster. But we had a lot of cautions. I hope to add to it.
Revenge tour.exe.
It's true. Oh, it's true.
Michael Cozy Jr. Runner-up in the points this evening, in third place here in race number 3. And you figure he's going to be out to try and rectify that pretty significantly next year. But Caleb, we've got one more driver to talk to beyond everything here. Because we talk about it all the time at the beginning of these races. We talk about how Eric Messer Photography proudly sponsors the Pole Award, the official photographer of the Madhouse, Filming Grave Stadium, and the official photographer of Core. And the driver that wins the most pole awards this season will get a trophy for their hard work and dedication to the Core League. And we have our Eric Messer Photography Pole Award winner for Season 6 of Core. It's none other than Corey Vervinkt, who has Senna in tow and a Pacers hat. Surprise, surprise. So, Corey, how do you feel, and what are your initial thoughts on winning the Pole Award for Season 6?
I'm proud to be this historically bad all season. This little sleepy guy wanted me to come to bed. He was very politely asking me to please stop racing tonight. I'd like for everyone to go to bed. So I obliged. But, it works out for me sometimes. I think only one of those pole positions was tactical. Long Beach, I was trying to get up front to hopefully drive away. It didn't quite work out for me, but we're proud to get a trophy no matter the reason.
What does the world need to know about Senna that the world doesn't already know?
He is a sock bandit. That is his main occupation in life. Thank you for all the smooches there, buddy. He is a sock bandit. He loves to steal socks, and he's a very sleepy guy. So he demands that we forfeit our socks as soon as we come home, because that way he knows we're not leaving.
A golden doodle, perhaps?
A mini poodle.
Mini poodle. Okay, just with the dark coat. Got it. So the words I was given from one Eric Messer was, because we asked him whether or not he wanted to come up, and he said, and I quote, "Nah, I'll let y'all present that." And the award says, "You did good racing, Corey Vervinkt. Core League Season 6, thumbs up." So I guess that counts as your official award presentation. Final question, and maybe the most important one between the two of us. Does winning the Eric Messer Photography Pole Award offset the sadness of Jurgen Klopp leaving Liverpool at the end of the season for you?
I knew this was going to get brought up, especially by you. I heard this earlier on the broadcast, and that is a dagger to my soul, James. There is nothing that will make that better. It is one of the darkest things that I think has ever happened in my life and in many Liverpool fans' lives. Please, Jurgen, stay forever. We will let you stay here as long as you are physically able to. Please, God, do not leave.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll give you a positive to end on, just to be fair. How excited are we for Indy to host the NBA All Star Game in a few weeks?
I'm incredibly excited to watch the best point guard in the NBA, Tyrese Halliburton, start for the Eastern All Stars. I am bitterly disappointed that I won't be there to watch it. I know my college roommate is going, so Cole, thank you for rubbing that in the other day. I appreciate it. But yes, I'm incredibly excited. I wish I was flying home to take a free throw in that basketball court in the best airport in the world. But unfortunately, we'll be watching from out here.
May all the Senna kisses be wonderful and lovely, and the snuggles be great. And
He's so tired. He's very very eepy.
yeah, we'll let you guys get some eeps. And yes, I concur on the Tyrese Halliburton sentiments. Star of the Pacers and star of my own fantasy basketball team. So, Corey, congratulations on winning the Eric Messer Pull Award, and enjoy some time with the Doge.
I will. Thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate the award. I was comically bad, but like I said, I wanted to be the first one to burn it down tonight.
He really was the first one to burn it down this evening. The Firebird special that he ran all year starts up front more than anybody else. And now, Caleb Hoffman, we finally get to offer our thoughts on Core Season 6.
Absolutely. I mean, another season down in the books for the Core presented by SimWrapMarket. And I mean, it was a storybook when it came down to the very last lap. As always, it feels like with this incredible point system, but I just got to think, I mean, you've heard all the gratitude from everybody, and I have nothing but the same thoughts. I got to thank DT and Ben for putting this thing on and all the work I know they've put behind the scenes. You, Pike, Jacob Hitz, who's not here with us, unfortunately, tonight, but all the work that he's done, Zach behind the scenes, and everybody from the drivers that have shown up all year, the fans here watching us, and everybody behind the scenes in terms of sponsors that have been here for just letting us do this every Wednesday night. It has truly been an honor, and I am so glad to have been here every week to watch what might have been my favorite Core season come to an end here tonight with the Soundhead Entertainment 250.
As always, the tradition to end here at Old Atlanta, something that has been established since the early days of Core, and puts on a really, really good show every time we come here. There's a reason why, even though a lot of the tracks in the middle of the Core calendar may change, this and Daytona at the beginning of the season have been staples for good reason. And the racing this season, fantastic as ever. And this is one of the few leagues in all of iRacing where even if I'm not in the booth, I'm still watching. I haven't been in the booth for every race, sort of split with Jacob Hitz, like you said, Caleb. But when I haven't been calling these races, I've been watching them. I've been paying attention to what happens. And it's a ball because, in particular, Ben and DT set things up with this league in a way that is unique to this league, but I think most importantly, in a way that gets the very best out of the sim to create the best racing possible. Racing in the morning might not necessarily be, realistic when you think about just the logistics of things. You don't see too many morning races on ovals, but with the way the conditions are, it makes for some incredibly compelling competition in the sim. And it's things like that that make this league special, in addition to the community that has formed amongst the drivers, the fans, everybody watching the Clown Reels on Ben's channel, which we're getting ready to get to in a moment. All of that combined makes Core really, really fun to be a part of, and just a blast to be involved with. So credit to everybody involved, to DT and Ben for all their hard work, and to Zach Johnson, our producer this evening, and all the hard work that he's done to make Core look so good, along with Hitz, who also produced some of these races as well. A reminder that if you're looking for more action on the FTF.GG Twitch channel this weekend, it is FTF 500 weekend season opener for the VAR Visuals FTF Cup Series. You've got the Soup starting at 7 p.m. on Friday night. You've got the Big Show on Saturday night, I believe, an 8 p.m. start for that, 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern, not sure which. But all of that you will see live here on FTF.gg. We'll find out who succeeds Ryan Doucette, or if Ryan Doucette can repeat as an FTF 500 champion. Then, when you get back at it the week after, you've got a little bit more action because you've got Audubon coming after the Daytona 500, and you've got the FTF Bar Visuals Grand National Series as well that you'll see here on the FTF.gg Twitch channel coming up. But 500 weekend, one of the best events in iRacing all year long. If you haven't had the chance to tune in before, I promise you, you will not regret finding the FTF.gg Twitch channel this Friday and Saturday and watching some of the best go at it from Daytona. For our producer, Zach Johnson, for Davin Cornelius and Ben Easterday at Core, for the entire broadcast team this year, Cisco Scalamuzo, who stepped in for a few races, for Jacob Hitz, who hosted these broadcasts and produced and then led some of them, and for my partner in the booth this evening, Caleb Hoffman, I am James Pike. Thank you all so much for watching FTF.GG's coverage of the Soundhead Entertainment 250 from Atlanta Motor Speedway and throughout all of Season 6 of Core, presented by SimWrapMarket.com. And we look forward to seeing you this weekend for the FTF 500.